Hey y'all, welcome to a new video. So today we're going to go over a couple of brands that I have just been really fascinated by and have really been impressed with. So the first brand we're going to talk about is Ciele. I have a bunch of stuff from them. I have a few things from Vieve. One of these I'm just still scratching my head over. And the last one is this really thin mascara from 1999. I'm going to pull my hair back and we'll jump into it. I don't have a stitch of makeup on my face. I have tried some of these with other sunscreens, and the hyaluronic acid watery sun gel from Innisfree has so far been the best, because they need a little boost of hydration, or at least my skin does. All right, I don't have anything in here for the lips, so I'm going to use the Rhode Multi-Peptide. I think that's what this thing is called. Whatever it's called, it's lovely. All right, you would not believe it, but I did dye my brows this week. My brows don't hold on to dye very well. So the thing that's leaving me a little bumfuzzled is the Vieve Skin Nova. So I also have the Skin Dew, which is Vieve's liquid highlighter. The issue I have with the Skin Nova, first of all, is the color. It is peach. It is like peachy golden. It does have a nice finish, but I can't figure out if I'm supposed to wear this under makeup. Is it supposed to go over makeup? Is it a texture? Is it a color? What is it? And I honestly, there are a couple things in this grouping of products that I'm still figuring out, and this is one of them. I will have to keep using it and see how I feel. I'm not using it today, though. What I am going to be using is the Skin Dew, because this is gorgeous. So these are 2 of the 3 products from Vieve. I have another one. We'll get into it. From Ciele, the Tint and Protect. This is another one of those that I'm still figuring out. The few times I've worn it, it kind of clings to my dryness. And yesterday it settled really heavily into the pores on my nose. So I'm not sure if I want to wear this today, because I have another coverage product that is gorgeous. So I think this is going to get set aside, and I will keep using it and check in with y'all at a later date. The coverage product I have been loving is the Conceal and Protect. This is, I believe it's the lightest shade, but it doesn't have it written anywhere on the bottle or on the tube. However, in spite of not knowing which shade it is a fabulous skin tone match for me. It's also one of the prettiest textures of concealer I've ever used. I can use this all over my entire face without it looking heavy. It just creates this natural glow, and it lasts. So we're going to go in with this. I need a brush. We'll use this brush from Cosmetics. I have a headband, but I did just lash my hair back. It is like 90 degrees and humid in Central Ohio right now. I don't like it. I very much object. I object to this weather. All right, so the first place I like to put this is over my melasma and under my eyes. And I'm going to grab a little BK brush and just blend that in. I have used this with my green color corrector, and they balance out nicely, but I want you to see the concealer and what it does. So you can see there, it is a lovely glowy but satin finish. I'm going to use a bit on my nose and down my chin, but I'm also going to I'm just going to put the rest of this all over. Chicago in a few weeks for the Indie Polish and Beauty Expo. And I am very much looking forward to it, but it's going to be the first time that I actually try and pack an entire trip into a carry-on. So I'm trying to find makeup that is multitasking and like just really malleable. And this is one of the things that's definitely coming with me. So I also have, while I blend this in, I have the skin tint, I have the concealer, I also have the stick bronzer and the blush. So I'm not going for full coverage. I'm going for like just adjusting my skin tone so that everything is even and blended in and looks like it's the same color, tone, and texture. I think I need just a smidgen more across my nose. So I had not noticed this breaking up on my nose or the skin tint until I put the Skin Nova underneath it. And then, oh my goodness, it really just emphasized the craters that are the pores on my nose. All right, I'm just going to go over that with a damp sponge. The sponge is actually too wet. So a sponge is just going to make sure everything is sitting nicely, but also like remove any excess product to smooth it out, make sure there's nothing that looks out of place. All right, I am going to throw on some brows. I'm going to use the ABH Clear Brow Gel and the Merit 1990 pencil. Okay. One of my peeves with this pencil. Oh, that was the end of it. I had to go to Sephora recently, and I'm glad I listened to my little voice that said replace this pencil. All right, brand spanking new Merit pencil. I do not love how quickly this pencil runs out, but I love the pencil. It's so thin. It blends in beautifully. It stays in place. It does not like just disappear and vanish into my brows like so many others do. I saw something the other day about like do your brows first. Ugh. It's so little and yet it breaks so easily that it just feels like you're wasting product sometimes. And I have just been like tapping everything in instead of running a spoolie through it and removing product that I have worked so hard to get in place. I find that just like tapping it allows everything to settle naturally and gives me this like, I love the shape of my brows right now. I really do. I'm gonna have to take a photo with me when I get my brows done again. Okay, so we have foundation, which is concealer. I'm gonna go in with the bronzer stick in shade 01 Light. I tend to have a little bit of trepidation when it comes to bronzers that are this color. They're not terribly warm. They're more like yellowy orange, whereas I like my bronzers to have just a pinch more red. However, this it blends seamlessly. It really does. This is a remarkable product. So the hook, Ciele's big thing is SPF coverage. And that doesn't mean that this should be your only coverage product, but it does kind of give you a little boost, especially if you're someone like me who deals with melasma and stuff on your cheeks. Additional layers of sun coverage, of SPF coverage, can really help. It's summer, so I'm putting this all over my face. It's really pretty, it's natural, it's easy, and it's fast. It is just the only gripe I have is that mine doesn't twist all the way down. I have to actually push it real good. All right, that's probably okay. Vieve, let's talk about this sunset blush balm in the shade Rosé. This is a full size where the other two are minis, skinny minis. So the color on this, it looks like it's going to be a rich, like peachy rose. And it is a little bit, but it shears out really thinly. And I almost feel like I have to keep building it to get it to the saturation that I like as like a medium to high contrast person. What I mean by contrast is if I take a photo in black and white, the difference between my hair, my eyes, and my skin is going to really stand out. So my skin is going to be lighter than my eyebrows, my hair, my eyes. And that means that I can play with richer blush colors instead of having like blonde hair, light skin, and blue eyes, which would be lower contrast, and thus anything too richly pigmented would really stand out on them. So that is one thin layer of Rosé from Vieve. It's gorgeous. It really is. It's another blush that is just simple and easy to use. You could even use these without base products. So we were talking about the Vieve blush. Yeah, it is really pretty, very easy. It just wears well, given that it does advertise itself as a balm. I think it has a little bit more tenacity than a traditional balm. All right. One of my favorite products from this haul is this blush in Elodie, Elodie. I don't know if that's somebody's name. I did look at the others and they all have names after people. Let me put this in the front, use it as some local color. Now, in contrast to the blush from Vieve, this has a lot of pigment. Can go overboard very fast. But that color, look at that color. It is just this beautiful coral, watermelon, I don't know, like this color just leaves me, it just, I don't understand it, but it's gorgeous. So these are the closest blushes I have to compare. So we have Ciele at the top. This is Modest from RMS. This is Ember from Phytosurgence. This is Singe from Phytosurgence. And Pink Pop from Charlotte Tilbury. And you can see there, none of those really like touch Ciele Singe. The closest I would come to being able to mix this blush color is the Charlotte Tilbury and probably Ember. I love the color of the Ciele blush. It messes with my brain in the best way possible. All right, I'm going to throw on some contour and my other steps that I do. So like tamp down my under eyes, and then we will come back and touch on the Ciele this powder from Ciele that is bonkers. And where'd it go? The 1999 mascara. Okay, doke. So I am back. I used the Phytosurgeon's bronzer in the lightest shade, which is Golden Daybreak. I use this all the time to blend the blush under my eyes up and down so that there's not this stark contrast between my under eyes and my cheeks. It's a tip I picked up from Khaki Reviews Beauty, and I love it. It's like the thing that I have been waiting for my entire makeup using life that has completely changed the way my makeup sits. All right, I went in with a little bit of the Merit Solo Shadow in Studio. This has been my go-to, and I realized the reason that I don't love my makeup when I just don't use any eyeshadow is that I have a lot of darkness and some purple around my eyes that just make my eyes look really dark and deep set. So going in with something this light and this skin tone just brings that all to life. It settles it down, the darkness, and it brings my eyes into alignment with the rest of my face. I then went in with the Hindash Matte Color Fluid in Carve. Just did a little touch of contour up here. And then I've also been putting this in my hairline. I am going gray. And in the front here, it looks like I'm bald because you can see these bright white bits of scalp through the front of my hair. So usually I go in with a powder, but I had plenty of this on the back of my hand, so I just used this. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. All right, let's talk this powder. Yes, powder from Ciele. Let's talk about the Ciele Blur and Protect, because this powder, I'm going to spoil it. This powder is magic. My face does not love powder. It's pretty persnickety, especially my under eyes. My under eyes do not like being set. They just don't. I don't understand why. There's something with the texture of my under eyes. However, now the Ciele powder comes with this little puff. I actually, look, I could say the packaging on this is excessive, but it's usefully excessive. That makes a difference. So you've got the outer lid that screws off. Inside there, underneath you have this little puff. So I'm autistic, and a lot of my my tisms, I guess, have a reaction to texture. Usually those velour puffs, those faux velour puffs that you get in powders, drive me up the wall. They literally hurt my skeleton. This one doesn't. I don't understand it. It's magic. This puff really does a good amount of heavy lifting. And then we have the powder itself, and we just have a little lid that hinges open. So we don't have the puff sitting in the powder all the time, but it's able to close into one easily storable container. I also like this acrylic container. I just think it's very well designed. So I normally go right off the lid. I don't pick up a ton of powder right away. I pick up what's on the lid and just a little bit on the rest of the puff. So next, pat a little bit off on the back of my hand, and then go in just the corner and that little ridge under my eye that emphasizes the socket line. And I'm going to turn the puff so that I use all of the powder that I have so carefully. So you can see there that it doesn't really change the texture. It just creates this beautiful blurred veil. Watch what this does to my forehead. The term mochi skin really does apply. It makes it soft and blurred and like a satin texture. It's bonkers. Go in with just a little around my mouth and on the sides of my nose. I do also like to powder my chin. I don't normally like using powder. This powder is special. I wonder what would happen if they put this in a pressed version. Because I normally hate loose powder. I normally find loose powder to be more of a hassle than it's worth. This one is the exception to the rule. All right, we then have this $19.99 mascara in brown. I have been looking for a brown, wispy, barely there mascara, and I believe Hannah Louise Poston was on a similar journey, and she talked about how good this was. So I got it from Amazon, and I really like it. I really like it. It's easy, it's simple, it's wispy, but it does give you some good length. I'm going to take a moment. I normally like to set my face before I do mascara. I was a little angry when MAC announced that they were changing the sprayer on their Fix Plus bottles. I don't hate the new sprayer. I did like the old sprayer. I like to be able to feel it on my face, but gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right. Let's go in with this mascara. I'm going to zoom y'all in really close. What I like about this teeny, tiny little brush is I can get all the way into the corners, into the base of my lashes. I can easily do one of these turning, you know, you base it at the base, you give it a little jiggle. Simple, easy, effective. Now, I will say this feels a little dry. And again, you know, Hannah mentioned that the one that she also got from Amazon felt a little dry. So maybe when this is out, I will order a new one from the brand directly, and we'll kind of compare experiences. This is not a tubing, it is just a regular mascara. However, I find it doesn't really travel, it doesn't transfer. Once it's there and set, it sticks around. This face of makeup is relatively bulletproof. I've worn it on hot and dry days, I've worn it on really muggy days, and it doesn't really seem to complain. Oh no, so it might be my skin. It may be the lack of primer. Maybe next time I'll use like a pore filling primer, but it is kind of breaking up in the pores on my nose. I had not noticed that before, but that's good to know. So despite this being a relatively thin, easy formula, it builds up. I wouldn't necessarily say you get drama, because if you're using a mascara like this, drama is not what's on the menu, but you can get some good length. And it is a brown that sits relatively well on my eyes. It works with my hair color, all of that. So let's run through some final thoughts. So the Vieve Skin Nova, this still has me puzzled. I'm still figuring out how and where and when to use this. I will check back in as I figure that out. Oh, I didn't use the highlight. Let's do that. This is the Vieve Skin Dew. And I normally don't love a liquid highlight. At least not one that I have to like squeeze out, put on with my fingers. I find it a little annoying. But like, look at the glow. This also has like a really subtle candy. Yeah, it's like a sweet candy vanilla fragrance. It's not too harsh, it's not overwhelming, and it does dissipate. It does wear out as you wear it in. I do like to put a little under my brow just to kind of emphasize my cheekbones. And for those of you concerned that I'm putting liquid over powder, sometimes you gotta be a renegade. I think it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous liquid luminizer. It's just, yeah. It looks like this really beautiful hydrated skin, which right now mine is, for the most part. I have some dry patches. I need to do some exfoliation. All right, next is the skin tint. Again, I'm still trying to figure this out. And it may be that I've been using too much. I haven't been using it over the right primer. Who knows? I will, again, continue to experiment and report back. The Conceal and Protect from Ciele. Bangarang. This is my new favorite face product. It really is. I'm going to go through this entire tube pretty quickly because it's so easy. It's so pretty. It just has this lovely finish to it. It's gorgeous. The Vieve blush, I like, but I feel like it might be a little too low contrast for me. I usually prefer something that has a little bit more of a presence. However, this is still a lovely formula. It's a beautiful color. I have nothing against it in its entirety. I just think it might be a little too low contrast for my skin. This Ciele blush, I love this blush. Now, I have learned the hard way. It's very easy to go overboard with this. So I need to check myself before I wreck myself. Gorgeous blush. Love it so much. I can honestly say the same thing with this stick bronzer. I originally swatched it and thought, oh no, it's too yellow. No, it's not. It's natural, it's subtle, it's easy, it's so pretty. And last but not least is this 1999 mascara that I have been really enjoying. I've been really enjoying this. And again, I will use it up. I will go through it. I will repurchase. And I think the winner overall in this video, in this set of products, is this powder. Because you put it on and it sets, but it doesn't look or feel like powder. And that is what I want. I want something that just disappears into the skin, matting down the brightness, and not settling into fine lines, not settling into dry patches, just kind of existing in harmony with everything else. I love it. Love it. So in conclusion, some thoughts on Ciele and a few things from Vieve. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope this was fun and informative and you got something out of it. I hope you are taking care of yourselves so you can take care of each other, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, friends.